Hey, what's up guys? My name is Javi here on Conventional Media, and today we're gonna talk about the 5 items that you're gonna need as a beginning filmmaker. Item number 1 is gonna be the most obvious one, and that's gonna be a camera. And no, we're not recommending for you to use your iPhone or anything like that right now. We're actually gonna be talking about interchangeable cameras. So it can either be like the Fuji X-T4, which I'm using right now, a Canon C70, a Sony a7 III, a Canon RP, R6, R5, the list goes on. There's so many cameras on the market right now that are amazing. Honestly, it really comes down to the type of things that you want to film. So for example, you're more of a running gun filmmaker. I mean, if you're starting out doing that stuff, awesome. And if you have the budget for it, get a Canon C70, a Sony FX6, or a true cinema camera. If you have the money and hey, and you know a whole bunch of things, even though you're a beginner, go ahead and spend the money. But if you're just starting out, I would suggest really picking up a Fuji X-T3. It's solid codec, can do 10-bit, a GH5. Canon R6 is a little bit more pricier, but it's a really great camera too as well with great autofocus. And my favorite, the one I'm using right now, which is a Fuji X-T4, solid camera, but you just don't get that full frame aspect ratio like you would with the Canon R6. So there's so many options. You can't really go wrong with any camera now in the market. And if you're a beginning filmmaker right now, honestly, you just gotta learn the principles of 180-degree rule, follow your frame rates, your shutter, your ISO, learn how to expose properly. And then from that point on, you can get beautiful images about with any camera as long as you learn those in the beginning. But if you want a solid camera that's gonna last you a lot longer, get something that shoots 10-bit, 4K 60 at least minimum, and they can shoot different codecs. So you're gonna be solid with one of those type of cameras. Item number 2 is gonna be lens. Finding the right lens it's just gonna help you elevate, your work to another level. But I always suggest thinking about what are you getting currently paid to do, or what would you like to get paid to do? Different focal lengths comes in different type of jobs. For example, if you're doing real estate videos, you probably want a 15 to 35 zoom lens. It gives you a little bit of range there, or a 24 to 70, which is my favorite lens. I love to use for weddings. I can still get establishing wide shots and a tight portrait, and that f2.8 is pretty good for low light situations as well. So it really just comes up to the type of lens that you want. If you're more of a nature videographer, then you may want to have a 70 to 200, f2.8 or f4, or even buy some teleconverters to extend that range if you need it. But it really just depends on the type of work that you're gonna be doing, or as a hobby, what type of things you like to shoot and what kind of focal range do you want it to capture. So at that point, it really comes to you, but picking the right lens is important. Third one is going to be audio, and finding the right audio gear, it can be daunting. It's like learning a whole different industry, whole different world. And for me, that's probably one of my weakest point is audio. And I finally started to invest some more money into audio. So hopefully you guys like the sound that's coming here right now. It's with the Sennheiser MKE600 paired with the Tascam DR10X. That actually is a XLR recorder. But if you're a beginning filmmaker, you don't have to use this setup. What I recommend actually is the Rode Wireless Go. And the reason why is because with these, you have a transmitter and a receiver. And the cool thing is that the transmitter also has a mic built into it. So if you don't have the money right now to actually put a lav mic on it, it already comes with a mic. You can get some attachments or make your own attachments, and you can use it in different scenarios. You can clip it on yourself. You can kind of use it as a mic for interviewing others, or later on as you get getting more jobs and you're able to buy more equipment, you can get a really good lav mic and pair it and use it as transmitter in a different way. And so you're able to have different combinations. And if you actually get a little bit more creative, you can use double-sided tape or Velcro and put it on top of each other, and then you're able to use it as a shotgun mic as well. Probably won't be as great as a true shotgun mic, but at least you're able to get some better quality than the actual audio coming from the mics in your camera. So that really comes up to you, but I recommend getting these when starting off. And no, all these items I am talking about today, I'm not sponsored. So, take that knowing that's the honest truth what I'm recommending. I'm not getting paid for it. Item number 4 is going to be an ND filter. If you're a filmmaker, you gotta know of the 180-degree shutter rule, and ND filter helps you accomplish that. I have a Canon C70 It has built-in ND filters. They're amazing. Saves time and effort in packing and just having less equipment because it's built in already. But if you don't have that luxury and you're using, say, the Fuji X-T4, you want to go ahead and find the largest thread size for the ND filter. And I recommend getting a variable ND filter so you don't have to take so many filters with you on the go. And also pairing it with some step-up rings for other sizes of lenses threads that you're gonna have. So for example, I have, let's say, the 82 millimeter Peter McKinnon Polar Pro and variable ND filter, not the mist version, but just a solid ND filter that has hard stops. It's gonna allow you not to get that weird X shape on your image. I suffered with that in the past buying cheaper ND filters, and I was so mad, and I wish if I can go back in time that I would have just bought the right ND filter from the beginning and spend that extra money in there. So if you're a beginning filmmaker, buy some quality ND filters, especially if they're not built into the camera, and that's gonna make your life easier. Item number 5 is going to be a tripod. And look, a tripod is not sexy, it's not beautiful, it's not like, ooh, getting the crowd or everybody around you like excited. No, I would say it's a boring tool, but it's the most useful tool that you're gonna use as a beginning filmmaker. And when I first started out, I ignored the tripod. I just went for the gimbal because it's so shiny and nice. I can stabilize my footage, but I quickly learned how daunting it is to always restabilize your gimbal when switching lenses and how it becomes a pain, especially in running gun situations. I learned my lesson from it, and so I love tripods now and monopods. So a tripod, what one allows you to do, allows you to put your expensive equipment on your tripod and use as a holder for you while you're doing some other stuff. Also, you can use it for panning. If you pair it with a fluid head, you're able to get different type of shots and movement that you weren't able to before. And some tripods also have, like I used the Manfrotto, forgot the model, but I'll put it up here somewhere. What it does is it allows me to do like overhead shots too as well. So that's pretty cool. It allows me to capture different type of B-roll. I can use it for photography if I wanted to, but for filmmaking purposes, you can do a lot with it. Pair it with a fluid head. Invest in the quality tripod, because one of the things I did, and I learned my lesson, is that I bought a cheap tripod, it broke down, and my expensive equipment fell. And if I would have invested, let's say $250, I could have got a pretty nice quality tripod and fluid head that one would have protected my gear that I spent thousands of dollars on, and know that the points are solid and they're stable. It also would have allowed me to just get more, different types of shots, creative shots overhead, and not use a gimbal and have to go through the hassle. Allows me to be faster, actually. Allows me to switch lenses a lot faster. Depending on the tripod you have and the weight it is, you can get a lot of more running gun shots with it. If you get a monopod, it's even faster, but when you're beginning, you want to get that tripod. You're going to use it more than you would with a gimbal. So always consider that. Now, I have a bonus tip for you guys, and that's going to be finding the right computer. Look, without a solid computer, you're not going to be able to create anything. You're going to have a headache, translating just H.265 footage and all this stuff. And look, as a filmmaker, this is one of the things that we think of last. It's not usually the first thing that we think of. And your laptop or computer is the engine of your business or of your hobby and what you love to do and create. So if you don't have a solid computer or laptop, you're gonna fail. See, when I first started out, I kind of avoided Apple because look, it's a premium, there's a tax on the name, and they were the same equipment or materials inside of the laptop compared to a PC. Since then, I built my custom PC, and then I actually picked up the MacBook Pro M1, and I love it. I got 16 gig of RAM and 1 terabyte, and I use in conjunction with my custom built PC. And right now you get so much bang for your buck with the MacBook Pro M1 chip, and I know that they're coming out with even more, professional chips, and this is just consumer level, but it does amazing, and I highly recommend it. So if you're on the verge to think, wait for the M1X chip, just go ahead and get the M1. You're not gonna regret it. And then later on, if you have the money, you can trade up. So get a solid computer. It's gonna allow you to create, not have the headaches, not have to go through the hassles of creating proxy. And if you're new, this is something else you gotta learn. So it just adds another step to your workflow, and you wanna make your workflow as seamless as possible, and that's gonna allow you to create content continue getting inspired and just doing this, you know? We love filmmaking, we love what we do, and having the right tools, it just allows you to put what you have in here and translate it onto video so that others can see and you can, you know, share around the world. But if you found this video useful, go ahead and like the video, comment down below, let me know what you guys think, but go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.